What's up, guys? Welcome back to our Team Solemn Circus live video. On the left side here we have Labrynth going up against Fire King. This is going to be with the Azamina cards in our deck. We are playing on the right side here, so if we do make any misplays, let me know in the comment section down below. We're still learning the deck, but obviously it's going to be pretty impactful to change. We did win the die roll here, so we are going to be going first, which is going to be very nice against Labrynth. You definitely don't want them to set up multiple of their trap cards. They do still have like Kuklocks and stuff like that lets them do activate stuff in their turn, or during our turn, I should say. But, you know, being able to set like 4 cards if they have like all traps can be quite detrimental for us. So we're going to be seeing a Wanted being pitched for a Diabell Star here. And that's going to be able to place a copy of the Sinful, whatever one is, the Azamina one here, Deception. Then we're going to activate Deception, sending the Diabell Star, searching for a Hallowed Azamina. And then we're going to be able to activate the Hallowed Azamina here. We did drop a card, but we're shuffling it back into the deck. So we do have the option to go straight into the Omni-Negate. We did have a Wanted that we already have had access to, so maybe we have another one in the hand. But they do hit us with a Molcharmy Full Roast here. This is going to allow them to get a draw anytime we touch the extra deck or go into the deck. So it's very important to note that like that's going to be kind of like deciding on how we go for it. Do we just go for an Omni-Negate and let them essentially have one draw, or do we go for kind of the line 3 of it, giving them 3 draws, but also getting the search? We do activate the Hallowed Azamina, but they chain an Impulse of this, and that's going to shut this down. This shuts down the whole entire Azamina engine, by the way, making it so that we just cannot really play at all with those cards. We do normal summon out the Narvada, and then we set 1 card, and then we are going to think on this, but they do decide to chain a Lady to summon itself out while we try to pass our turn, and we're thinking of Arvada negating it. Now, honestly, there's no point of Arvada negating that. They're going to go battle phase and attack into the Arvada. And not having any other traps to activate is going to be kind of nice for us. They have to find a way to set the cards here, and then it's going to be able to pass and then get their stuff. But that's going to be no problem for Lab, because we do just activate a Wanted searching for the Diabell Star from our deck, and then we just pass turn on this. We are going to draw now, and now all their traps are live. Lady will start being able to set other traps from the deck, and being able to set like Impulses is just absolutely busted. If you guys have not seen that ability, like have not thought about that deck is just insane right now. You know, being able to play around Full Rose quite decently, you know, because you just not activate your trap cards that turn. Obviously, they're going to chain it to your trap once you activate it, but having like the ability to kind of play it very nicely through these Molcharmies are kind of crazy. We are going to go send Full Roast for Diabell Star. It's going to get hit with a Wanted on the activation, so we're not going to be able to get it for the OSS. And they do forget the Chain Lady, but it does not matter. We scoop it up. The game has already been lost. So here we see Labrynth end up taking up game 1, even though they did not win the die roll here. This shows you the power of Impulse and Full Roast. You know, Impulse making... honestly, I think Impulse is probably one of the most cracked cards we've gotten in a long time. Like, people are talking about how like Molcharmy is one of the best cards. Like, it is just max C. But like Impulse is cracked. We have Imperm and Impulse. Like, Dominus Purge is also good as well, but Impulse is just so crazy. Like, who thought that we would ever print essentially Solemn Judgment or Warning on a card that you can activate from the hand, and it's locked out of 3 stuff. Now, honestly, I do like the card a lot. I like the idea of the design. I hope that they do more Dominus cards with like different effects like this, where you have like you can't activate the effects of light, whatever, blah blah blah. I wish that like they would just do it like for me, for example, Dominus Impulse should have had lights and darks, because it's just a like powerful card that like you don't want those light and dark decks being able to abuse that, which are going to be the strongest decks. It should have been like dark, fire, and light for me, but. I guess at that point, like, you're going to be just seeing, like, random decks end up using it, but they do need that boost, I think, personally, myself. We are going to be seeing the Fire King deck go first once again, activating Sanctuary, placing the island onto the field, and then we're going to activate the island effect, destroying the Garunix, it looks like, to search for another copy of itself. Unless there's a Kieran in the graveyard. I'm not exactly sure. The look of it is a little bit different here. We're going to be seeing the Garunix destroy the Arvada. It was a Kieran there. And then Arvada is going to bring back out the Kieran. And then we're going to activate the Deception, sending the Garunix to the graveyard to allow us to search for Hallowed Azamina. Now, we haven't really seen anything from the deck, but they are going to go for a Full Roast on... Or they're going to go for a Molcharmy Prelia. Or no, it is Full Roast on the Hallowed Azamina. We chain an Ash Blossom, they chain another one there, so they are going to get a draw for this, but we do go up into the one that searches for the wanted here. And they do chain an imperm to that, and allowing us essentially not to be able to add that second sinful spoil spell and trap from our spell here from our hand. We are going to go end phase, and then Kieran's going to get destroyed by the Arvada effect. We're going to activate the effect of the Kieran. They do chain an impulse to this, essentially not making us allowed to summon anything here, which is kind of unfortunate. We set the deception during the end phase, and they go for a Shovey Torvey, same thing, discarding a Trap Tricks to set from the deck. And yeah, honestly, that was a crazy hand from Labrynth. Like, those are the hands you want to be seeing. There's not much else that you can like really even want here. We're going to see a Welcome being flipped face up, and that's going to resolve. You know, you don't need to do a big Welcome in this case because we just want to get that. You could have gone for a big Welcome, I guess, and then that would have been able to search for Ariana, bounce back Ariana, normal summon Ariana. But if we draw into a normal summon, it's not going to be the best. So having the Welcome being set in like the simplified game state allows us to continuously get Welcomes reset every single turn. So like starting off with a Welcome when you just want to summon from the deck is going to be very fine. It's all dependent on the top deck. Like Ariana or Lovely are both options here because you can just reset like an Impulse or the Trap Tricks depending on what you have, and then that's going to get you access to something else anyways. You know, Lovely being able to reset Impulse over and over and over again, especially in the simplified game state, is going to be huge. So we do see the Lovely being summoned, and Lovely's going to attack into the Ultra here of the Azamina. It's going to activate the effects when it hit the graveyard. They're letting us search for a wanted. This is going to now allow us to have access to more of the Diabellstar cards. But we do see the Lovely going to be able to set, and they are setting the Impulse here. A very good card, especially because we're going to add back the Hallowed Azamina, activate the effect, send the Deception, and then just get that once again. So we just see them set that one card there. I wonder what they have in the hand. You know, perhaps it could be a furniture as well. They do have the Torby in the graveyard, which is going to be able to bring itself back out if we do kind of get something else. Now we do go Duster, sending the Impulse. Very nice for us, getting rid of that Impulse because that card's crazy. And then we go put back the extra deck to add back the Hallowed Azamina. And we definitely should activate the Deception, because if we don't send it to the graveyard while it's face up, it won't get the ability to reset itself. We are going to go for Fire King Island, destroying the Garunix in our hands. It's going to allow us to search. Now we can summon out the Garunix from the graveyard, summon out Kieran, or destroy Kieran from the deck, and then get the effects. I feel like we just go for, search for a Ponix, Kieran, Garunix in the graveyard, summoning itself out, destroying a Kieran. Kieran then brings out the Arvada and pops the Lovely. And we essentially have the game in control at this point. You know, they are down to one card in the hand. We have a Monster Negate. We are going to have an Omni Negate in a minute with the Deception being able to be sent for that. Yeah, so we do have Deception send after we flip it face up, going for the Ultra once again. That's going to let us search for an OSS or a Wanted here. Now, we already have the Wanted in the hand, so we can just kind of just use it for a free pitch. We go Ponix, normal summon, activate the effect, searching for Skyburn. Now we essentially have access to destroy the spells and traps at any point in time. Like that card alone in this game state wins us every game, because they have to wait to be able to activate their traps, and then we just start going for essentially abuse by just, you know, if we want to go for one, we can go 1-for-1. Doesn't really matter. They are forced to kind of go like for multiple copies of like Ku-Klok and stuff like that. We now go for Sunlight Wolf, then we go up into a Diabellstar. That's going to be enough for games, so they just end up scooping up right there. We still have the Wanted in the hand as well, so that we could have just activated the effect going up into the Sylvia or whatever, the Omni Negate, and then we would have had even more than enough. But yeah, that's going to be game number 2. Duster is so good against Labrynth, honestly. Like, even in those like weird game states where, you know, you have to wait for the Impulse to be activated, that's set. Getting rid of an Impulse, even if it's your only interruption, like, Impulse is huge. But we wouldn't have not been able to play through that if they would have had that one Impulse set, and then we wouldn't have been able to get rid of it there. So that Duster definitely came in clutch. Now, in that scenario, you could also just have a Cosmic, which is like completely fine. We have 2 or 3 of them in our decks, but It did come quite clutch. We would not have been able to do that if that impulse would not have been gone. Now moving on to the all-important game number 3, we are going to see Labrynth finally able to go first here, and they can set up a kind of crazy board. That game 1 and 2 hand were just cracked, but coming back in game 2 is quite nice. We're going to be seeing a normal summon of an Ariana that's going to activate the effects, allowing it to search its deck for a Kuklok here. So we're going to try to activate cards during our turn. We're going to be seeing Kuklok going to be activated here, and that's going to be activating now Torby, discarding itself, and is that... I don't even know what trap that is. Looks like a Waybridge. But we can now set a big welcome, and then we're going to be seeing Kuklok summon itself out. This can allow it to bounce back to the hand. But now we can finally activate a trap during our first turn. We're going to see big welcome get ashed here very fairly. And then we're going to set one card and just pass turn on this. Oh, it was Black Goat's Laughs. That's a good card against us, especially being able to discard it off of the of any of the furnitures. We're going to see Cosmic chained on the big welcome there. We are paying 1,000 life points, but it is going to resolve being able to bring out the Lovely and returning the Kuklok to the hand. And then we're going to rip our hand here. So 1 in 4 chances we are going to be seeing the Torby bring itself back, and we do destroy the Fire King Island. That's going to be a good hit. Now, we are playing 2 of them in our deck because we aren't at the time playing the Snake Eyes cards. I didn't think this card... I still don't think those cards are going to be kind of crazy. We're going to see the Ariana summon another Ariana, and that's going to get the effect. And then we activate the Sanctuary here. It's going to place the other island. And like having double island, essentially, like Sanctuary and Island in the hand, is definitely not what we're looking for to break this kind of board. It's going to be quite hard. But they also opened up like double, or big welcome, I guess. So it's not the greatest for them as well. We had Ash. So there's a bunch of different like trades that you get to see there. That's going to be pretty good. We're going to go for Island, and we're going to destroy a Kieran. And that's going to allow us to search for a Garunix. Now, we can actually activate the Kieran effect if we wanted to, and not the Garunix effect, allowing us to summon up the Garunix and then pop a card on the field, which is something that people don't really always know. You can just save the Garunix effect for later in the turn. They're going to chain Black Goat's Last, calling the High King Avatar Garunix, allowing us not to be able to summon it, which is going to be pretty fire. I'm not sure. Oh, we're going to activate the Shandrag, or we're going to activate the Torby, sending another Ariana to the graveyard to set a welcome from the deck. Okay. So we have the Kuklok in the hand here. Now we do summon out the Ulcanix. We don't get the effect of the Garunix anymore. We do have the Ulcanix, which is going to be on normal summon, gets to destroy a card, a fire, to search our deck. So we're going to destroying the Garunix here, searching us for a most likely a Kieran. And then we do destroy that welcome off the Kieran, which is kind of nice. You definitely have to search for Kieran here, yeah, because Kieran can then destroy the Ulcanix. Then Ulcanix will summon out the big guy, overlay, destroy the whole entire field, and then, yeah, okay, so we're going to be destroying the Ulcanix. Ulcanix activates the effect. It summons in defense position here, so that has to actually be in defense. But does not matter because we're going to overlay immediately up into the High King Avatar Garunix, destroying the entire field other than itself. Then we're going to go battle phase, attack for a measly 3,000. Now, it is going to be quite nice because we can, once it gets destroyed, we're going to be able to do stuff. It also has a spell and trap destruction effect, which is quite nice as well. But they are going to go Extravagance as a top deck. Now, these hands are crazy. I wish when I played Lab, my hands were like this, because this is just cooking. We end up drawing 2 cards. We know that the Kuklok is in the hand. They should have activated earlier last turn, so they would have been able to activate the effect of the Welcome Labrynth, being able to bring it bring a monster out, but it's not going to do that much anyways, because we would have just destroyed it off of the Garunix, the High King Av Garunix anyways. So there's not much we can currently do during our turn, or their turn here, but once it passes over to our turn, being able to activate the island, destroying the Garunix, being able to summon out a Garunix, search for one, and be able to summon out 2 other bodies from the graveyard is going to be pretty nutty. They have to find a way to get rid of that High King Garunix, and they have to find a way to make sure they don't destroy it. So we see a 2 traps and a Ku Klux being set, and then with that, we're just going to pass our turn. So we have a decision we can make here. We can actually either activate the Garunix effect to destroy one of their back row cards, or we can just, try to summon out 2 bodies here. Now, looking back, I definitely think that activating the Garunix effect, destroying one of the spells and traps, is going to be the right play. We don't need to summon out multiple bodies. Being able to destroy only one of the body or one of the spells and traps, and either forcing an interruption is going to be so much more worth it than like 2 random bodies on the field. So we do opt to not. We just go for the island, destroy the Garunix, and like I said earlier, that's definitely a misplay on our parts. It's going to search for the Ponyx. We then get to activate the High King Garunix, the Garunix in the graveyard, and then everything else. Now, we are trying to just go for the Kieran's going to get the effect to pop one of the other back row, but if we would have popped one of the back row or forced the other one out with the High King Garunix, we would have just kind of known what we're playing for, which is going to be a little bit better of a play. Like those 2 bodies isn't going to do very much for us. Now, we have to kind of go for Ulcanix and the Kieran, which is going to allow us to destroy the Kieran off of the Ulcanix. But we are going to go for Ulcanix 1, Garunix 2, Traptrix 3. And now they're going to be locked into only activating 1 more trap for the rest of this turn. So Kieran can kind of destroy whatever the trap they are going to be kind of going for. And they go for Impulse on the Ulcanix in this case. And so we are going to be banishing... Is it Daruma Cannon here? Yeah, so we're going to banish Daruma Cannon to set Daruma Cannon. Then we destroy the Kieran from the deck with the Garunix. Kieran will then activate, but we have to chain the Daruma Cannon, just so we get that extra turn here. If we don't chain it now, it's going to get destroyed off the Kieran, and there was just no point of doing it. So they are going to give themselves another turn by doing this. And then the Kieran will summon out the OG, or just summon out the High King Avatar Garunix. And we're not going to destroy a face down. I mean, we definitely should have, but oh well. They're going to be seeing the Ponyx being searched or summoned and searching for a sanctuary here. I believe it was. It could have been Skyburn, but they're just going to deal some more damage once again. They're going to set 1 and just pass turn on this, leaving them on top deck mode once again. Now, hopefully it's not going to be an extravagance, but it's going to be 1 set. We go Skyburn, target, destroy, and it was a copy of Rollback here, which is now going to allow them to kind of play through those stuff. Yeah, that's definitely a misplay for us, but being able to set that and then we expect it to be a trap is very huge here. Now, they are low on life points, and we have like a chonky board being able to flip face up. They know the last card in hand is Sanctuary, but yeah, being able to add back the Ponyx during the standby phase of our turn. But like, they're kind of forced here to activate Rollback during their turn, paying half their life points, being able to copy like a big Welcome, being able to then set the Welcome from their graveyard, which they can then activate during our turn and get a bunch of other stuff. So, but they are just going to pass on this. allowing us to draw. So now they're not going to activate their welcome. They end up resetting, and they're going to kind of be on like a timer. So we're going to standby phase, activate Ponix, and I definitely think that's going to be the misplay on their part here, because now we can flip up all our monsters, and then we can activate the island, destroying the Ulcanix, allowing us to search our deck for a Arvada. And once this Arvada is on the field by a normal summon, now we can just negate any of their monsters at any point of time. So we're going to go for Deception, and this is going to be forcing them essentially to start activating that rollback, because now we have a Hallowed Azamina, and once we activate that Hallowed Azamina, sending the Deception, we're going to go straight up into an Omni-Negate, and at that point, the game's going to be just sealed. So they are on a tight clock, but the problem is we're putting a lot of pressure on the Labrynth player. I definitely think it's a misplay during last turn. They would have been able to kind of go for anything, even just roll back, summon out Ariana, or I guess Lady. It would have to be Lady. Lady gets bounced back to the hand due to copying the big Welcomes effect, and then Welcome would set itself. Chandragula or Stormatory would summon itself out, and then Lady could activate summoning itself out, and then during our turn they would go Welcome Labrynth, summon out the Ariana from the deck if they still have one, activates effect, searching for maybe another Chandragula or whatever. So we are explaining that there. This is on GoPro, so if you guys want to be seeing the POV of it, definitely check it out on the channel as well. I like showing off different versions of this, because it kind of gives you guys an explanation, yeah, you see it looking back. I'm looking at my own duel, I'm giving a commentary on it, and I'm saying what I would have changed looking back at it. But in the moment, with the POVs, you don't actually get to see. You get to see exactly what's happening in the game. So there's definitely different feedbacks you guys can see, and I think that looking at both versions of the duel is going to be extremely helpful for you guys, as well as if you guys are even interested in seeing it. The POVs are really cool. If you guys haven't checked those out, you definitely should. I try to explain what I am doing in the moment, but we end up going for another High King Grunix, and we end up taking the game that way. Labrynth ended up getting defeated in Game 3. They had a pretty good hand a lot of the times, but unfortunately just being able to the misplay of not activating the rollback during their turn to be able to activate the welcome during our turn kind of just threw the game there. Regardless, we're just watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. They are going to be showing off what they could have done there a little bit differently. But you live and you learn, you make the mistakes. That's what makes us a better duelist. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for super content like this. Stay safe. Peace.